Oh, hey, didn't see you there. For starters, the War on Terror is and has been the longest war in American history. It began when President Bush declared war on the Islamic terrorists after the events that happened on 9/11.
The United States of America will use all our resources to conquer this enemy. We will rally the world. We will be patient, we'll be focused, and we will be steadfast in our determination. This battle will take time and resolve, but make no mistake about it, we will win.
We believe that the War on Terror has impacted our society much more than other wars in the past. Now, the threat of a real-life terrorist attack has never been more real. Groups like Al-Qaeda and Taliban remind us of how the world has evolved over the past century. We must be more perceptive of what goes on around us. You may be wondering, who is Al-Qaeda? Al-Qaeda was an Islamic terrorist group founded during the Afghanistan war by the infamous Osama bin Laden. Al-Qaeda was formed to help the Taliban fight off the Soviet Union during the war, and they succeeded in driving the Russians out of Afghanistan. The U.S., believe it or not, used to fund the Al-Qaeda during the Afghanistan war. After the war, Osama bin Laden asked for the U.S. to continue funding for Al-Qaeda so that he could eventually take over the Holy Land. But the U.S. refused. This, by the U.S., inadvertently began the longest war in American history. You may have heard of Osama bin Laden before, but do you really know who he was? Bin Laden was a wealthy Saudi Arabian man who created Al-Qaeda to defend Afghanistan. He was born on March 10, 1957, into one of the richest Saudi Arabian families. He was widely considered a war hero in Afghanistan following the war. Meanwhile, the United States was in the Persian Gulf War against Iraq. Osama bin Laden asked the United States to remove their troops from Saudi Arabia, but they refused. Bin Laden was angry at the U.S. and began the War on Terror. On September 11, 2001, Islamic terrorists hijacked 4 U.S. jets. One jet flew into the Pentagon. Another landed in an open field in Pennsylvania. The other 2 planes crashed into the World Trade Center in New York City. Osama bin Laden had officially become the most wanted criminal in the world. President Bush launched a military assault to find and kill bin Laden along with the rest of Al-Qaeda. The mission would eventually last for the next 10 years. Over that time, most of Al-Qaeda was captured or killed, but nobody could find bin Laden.
President Barack Obama was elected in 2008. 3 years into his first term, he launched a top-secret military assault known as Operation Neptune Spear. His goal was to find and kill Osama bin Laden. The president appointed SEAL Team 6, a group of highly trained hit-and-run specialists, to find and kill bin Laden.
Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands of innocent men, women, and children.
In conclusion, we believe that Al-Qaeda began the war on terror because of their selfish and inhumane actions. The war on terror is also a turning point in American history because the idea of a terrorist attack has never been as real as it is today. In conclusion, we believe that Al-Qaeda began the war on terror because of their selfish and inhumane actions. The war on terror is also a turning point.
Saying.
Yo, John, get next to me, man.
Face the ball.
John. Come on. You're in the vid.
Take 4. 3, 2.
Meanwhile, the United States...
Take 6. 2.
Meanwhile, the United States was in the perfect... Dude.